wonderful patrons here at the PokéPals podcast. We are here to bring you a brand new and exciting show where we sit down and talk about it, where we roundtable discuss all of your favourite Pokemon sets and rate them from Pokémania all the way to In the Bin with Prismatic Evolutions. Lads, I'm bringing you forward today to make sure that we talk about the set. The set where it all began from all the way back in the 90s. We are going to break down, talk about, and make love to Base Set. We're going to start this series off where it all began, and then we're going to bridge out and talk about everything from Base Set all the way to Mega Revolutions and everything in between. Are we excited to get ready for the round table?
Oh, I cannot wait. We are going to be going deep into Pokemon history today, and I feel like there's going to be some controversial opinions flying about, so I am eager to sit down, talk about it with you guys, and then get abused online, so let's get going.
I am very excited. Any chance to talk about some vintage, I am there for it.
I think definitely at some point when we release the final tier list, when every set has been ranked, somebody is going to sharpen a blade in my direction. I would expect many Survivor tales to be thrown at me. It's something that I think we as Pokemon fans discuss very regularly is, oh, this is my favourite set, this is my favourite card, this is my thing, la-di-da-di-da. Well, we're going to break down all of them, all the way, as I said, from Base Set all the way up to current day Mega Revolutions. We're starting with Base Set. We're going to go from the uncommons to the commons, into the hollows, and everything in between. We're not going to cover energies in this set because, yes, they're nice. But a small special shout out to this one. Double colourless energy. Because it looks cool. Thanks me for editing that picture in. You're the best. So we go into Base Set, and I hope my cohorts have got theirs laid out in front of them. Not the whole set. Jesus Christ, we're not, stonk dogs. But we're going to go all the way from trainers into the commons, uncommons, rares, and then hollows. So starting in the trainers, we've got Switch, Potion, Gust of Wind, Energy Removal, Bill, Super Potion, Revive, Professor Oak, Pokédex, Pokemon Flute, Pokemon Center, Plus Power, Maintenance, Full Heal, Energy Retrieval, Defender, not John Terry, Super Energy Removal, Scoop Up, Pokemon Trader, Pokemon Breeder, Lass, Item Finder, Imposter Professor Oak, Devolution Spray, Computer Search, and then everybody's favourite toy to take to bed with them, Clefairy Doll. Now I've said a lot there. That is a massive whopping. Let me quickly do the maths. 26 trainer cards, including double colourless energy, which I've already shouted out because it looks cool. I'm going to say this. I love all trainer cards in Base Set. I just think that the artworks when I was a kid were really cool, and I like that they were totally different from the Pokemon. I think that each of them had their own unique style and look to them. The only ones that I didn't really care for were Bill and Lass and Professor Oak, because to me they were characters. Not being a player of the TCG, They were just characters to me. I like pretty pictures. That's what I'm here for. I like the shiniest cardboards. So for me, cool ones. I really like the look of Switch because it looks like the trade that you do in game. I really love Gust of Wind because it looks like Weedle is literally having a rough day. And the amount of times that I say a strong breeze could fuck his day up when describing somebody, it's the perfect card that fits in for me. I think Pokédex is one that you can shout out because we all wish we had one at some point in our lives. Pokemon Trader, Pokemon Breeder, again, they were characters to me. Wasn't really too worried. Scoop Up is another one because it just looks like Weedle's being ragged around. Weedle gets it really rough in Base Set, I think, which is hard for him.
I hadn't actually noticed that, but they are doing Weedle so dirty. It's like someone's flung him across the room, and then someone's tried to sweep him up off the floor. Like, my man
I think right now we can confirm that Ken Sugimori hates bug types. That's what we're seeing here. But then you've got other ones like Devolution Spray, Computer Search, Clefairy Doll. Kind of cool in their own right. I really like the Clefairy Doll because for me, it was the first bridge of a 3D design because it looks a bit like Mario's Kirby, but as Clefairy. It's kind of funky. But trainer-wise, obviously we've seen mass change in the future. We've had full arts and SIR trainers and everything in between. How do you guys enjoy the trainer aspect of the base set?
I genuinely love it. Like, I remember as a kid, Gust of Wind being like the funniest card you've ever seen because it's like, look at that Weedle, he is gone. And then Switch as well. I just thought that that was so cool. So, like, coming up with the story behind it because I had that card before I could read, I think. So I was just looking at it like, what on earth is going on here? Yeah, I think Mush and I have had this chat off camera before, but the thing that always amazes me when we go back to like base set, especially, is actually how much they had on each card. Like when you look at the amount of text, like the thick borders, the big imagery, it doesn't seem like we're looking at the same scale thing as we have with like modern trainer cards, because like obviously the window is like that on modern ones, but yeah, there's so much charm to it, and like you just know what it is the second you look at it with these. I mean, granted, the big fuck off trainer helps, but I just feel like there's so much more like charm to these designs, and it's very like it feels like a utility card if you were playing the TCG. But then I also wouldn't mind a whole page of these in a binder for if I was doing like a modern master set. So yeah, I definitely prefer this design to modern.
All right. So Patreons, we said we're going to have some controversial opinions here. Now, I've got some appreciation for these cards now that I'm grown up. As a kid, these were these cards that I went, oh, I'm not
There
here for
goes another
this.
Weedle.
I'm here for the Pokemon. Yeah. So when I'm looking at them, there were cards that I liked, and I had, and it's in a box next to me. I had a lot of cards that were luckily saved from my childhood, and I probably of all of the vintage cards had about 5 or 6 trainers, and I've had to recently bulk buy a lot of the trainers back to try and complete the set because as a kid I did not give a fuck. I do not care. I'm the opposite of Mush. I liked Professor Oak. I liked Bill because they were characters I knew, and I thought Imposter Professor Oak was just funny. And I didn't mind the Scoop Up, the Gust of Wind, because it had a Pokemon on, and I really liked the Switch card. All the others I could not care for. I was there to collect the Pokemon. I never played the game. I tried collecting all 151. My OCD as a kid was getting all the cards in number order, from Bulbasaur to Mew, and making sure I'd always put them back in order, which is why I know the order perfectly off by heart now. Um, Trainers do not come into that order. They go straight in the bin. Again, growing up, got some love for them now. A bit of nostalgic love, but realistically, I don't care for them.
It's funny that you mentioned that you really like Bill because I'm looking at the card right now, and why does it look like he's in a fucking police lineup? Stand against the brick wall and read these lines back to me, sir. I'm a Clefairy. Please help me by pressing the button. It's something about it that I just look at that just kind of freaks me out a little bit. One that I always find that's quite funny as well is Full Heal looks like a baseball bat. No, 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 you will get better. Like, as if you could just threaten. Yeah, sorry, Pikachu. Are you suffering from poison? Doomph. How's that? Do you feel better now?
It's a baseball bat or a fucking enema. I think it's like you're either going to get better or I'm going to give you something
Weedle,
to really
you seem to be
worry
suffering
about
from a gust of wind. Allow me to help you with this enema.
Let me know that gust of wind you have.
But it is again, like Ed said, I think it'd be really cool to have a binder page of these or a couple of binder pages if you get all of them because they have that nostalgic feel to them. And I think especially as we do these first couple of episodes of this new series, there'll be a lot of that, oh, I like this one because it reminds me of when I was a kid and so on, until we get to like something like we start doing Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet era and we go, oh, because I like this because of this or such and such, or we do like Dragon Frontiers or Dragons Exalted because of the Delta species and the EX full arts that started to happen. I think there's a lot of like, oh, I love this because it reminds me of when I was a kid. Does that necessarily mean that this set is good? Does it necessarily mean that these sets are great? Or does it mean that we are just fueled by a youngest version of ourselves that's inside going, please, please, love this set, please, I beg you. Trainers, I think, are okay. I think that they've got some cool ones. I think that they've got some duds. I don't think that every Pokemon set hits every single time with every single card, unless, of course, it's Glory of Team Rocket. Yes, I've taken it from the podcast and mentioned it here. We move out of the trainers and we move in to the commons of base set. Now, I could sit here and list off all of them like I did with the trainers, but there's a lot more than 26, and I only have 26 breaths left. 25. So I'm going to mention a few that I like, then I'm going to let the lads take over and mention a few that they like, and we can discuss the ones that we bring up. I'm going to mention him because he's been done so goddamn dirty in the trainer cards, but the Weedle common from base set, I actually really like it because it's exactly how I would imagine finding a Weedle in the wild. Just kind of slithering his way across a branch in a tree. I've always had a weird affiliation or love for bug types and poison types. Obviously, Arbok being my favourite, poison's obviously going to be in there. But things like Weedle, Kakuna, and Beedrill being able to get a fully evolved Pokemon by level 10 is mad to me. And that was one of those ones that I absolutely loved being able to do. Kind of like strolling into Brock's gym going, he can't beat me. I have a fully evolved beat. He's used Rock Throw. Oh. My life is over now. Thank you. So I really like the Weedle. And another one I'm going to mention before I do pass it off, because we'll do 2 or 3 each, and then we'll jump back and forth and see what everybody thinks about them, is the Voltorb. The Voltorb for me is a really cool looking one, and it's very reminiscent of the Iono's Voltorb from... Thank you ever so much for knowing what set I was trying to say. It's got that bright, colourful blue and the purple above. It looks like a disco ball. It's very, very cool. It's not got much going on in the background, but something about it grips my attention and makes me love it. And I'm actually a big Voltorb / Electrode fan. They were always one that I used. It's a hard-hitting, speedy ball. What more do you want? So those are my first 2 out of the base set that I really like. Do you 2 enjoy them? And then what are the couple that you want to hand out already?
Yeah, that Voltorb was initially going to be one that I shout out, but you've covered it beautifully, especially with a comparison to the Iono's one. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the same color scheme that we get in the paint splat in the latest one, having the kind of blue and pink / purple. Yeah, I think cracking choices to start us off there.
I had to go and look for it just to kind of compare it, but it is a kind of similar style. But again, a really great card and a really great art. But yes, Weedle and Voltorb. Tone, what are a couple from the base set that you really enjoy as commons?
I for one think the base set commons are incredible, and I know there's some fans of base set, there's some that's not, and I know I hold a lot of nostalgic love for it. I'm looking at them all now, and loads of them, just the artworks are awesome. The one that shouts out to me though is all the commons are basic Pokemon except for one, and it got done dirty with the common status, and that's Starmie. I love that Starmie artwork. I think it's incredible, and I think that should be a holo design. To be honest, it's simplistic, but I love it. Especially with all the other holo cards in the set, I think Starmie is a great card. The Vulpix, adorable. The Vulpix on the black background, the twinkle in the background. I think it's another stunning card. Obviously you got my boy Squirtle, but I actually think his Squirtle cards, it's not one of the best. It's a nostalgic, lovable card, but
To me, it looks like it's shiny variant rather than genuine Squirtle.
Even then, it's like that turquoisey green colour is just weird. But
And
another common card
yeah, what is that he stood on? Or is that a ton of Squirtle eggs? Do they lay eggs?
It's meant to be bubbles, I believe.
That looks like stage 2 rabies. Just saying. That's what that looks like to me. I will say that I do agree with the Starmie. I think it looks fantastic. Like light is beaming through the ocean, and you've just caught it at the right moment. It deserved a holo. 100%. It deserved a holo.
100%.
Now,
it even deserved uncommon, let alone having it the only evolved
That's true.
Pokemon to have a common.
Actually, yeah, I didn't even think about the fact
Like,
that it's the only evolution that's in the base set.
And
Yeah.
as well, what I think's really interesting is the two that you've highlighted there have like very sort of simplistic backgrounds, but for some reason with these artworks, it
Mm.
really actually worked. Because
Yeah.
like when we were chatting on the podcast about like the shiny Volt from Paldean Fates, for instance, it's like they have obviously all got the same background, just being the silver with the like popping stars. But for some reason, that looks like cheap and lazy.
Yeah.
Whereas on like the Vulpix and the Starmie, it really works having that like air of simplicity. But I think it's
Absolutely.
because it's not just like, oh yeah, we've got this, and then we replace the Pokemon and we're done, like high fives and handshakes. It's like there's thought and intention behind it, and yeah, I think they're
I think
great
I've just been scrolling up.
Exactly.
Wartortle is a basic Pokemon, isn't it?
No, it's the last of the
Oh,
uncommons.
okay. All right. Well, then I suppose I will just go and get a large rod and take it to myself later.
But then Seal is an
Yeah, that's a
uncommon,
weird one. Why
Yeah.
is Seal an
and
uncommon?
Storm. That is
Yeah.
a
I feel like,
really
and
weird
this
choice.
is going from the point of view that somebody that was around for Red and Blue as a kid that it was aimed at. Do you feel like Seal and Dugong were supposed to be the upper echelon of the water type? Like they were supposed to be cool, they were cute looking, and people were supposed to care about them because you had things in the original 151 like Poliwag, Poliwhirl, and Poliwrath. You had Tentacool and Tentacruel. You had Staryu and Starmie. You had Magikarp and Gyarados. You had lots of other things that were cool, but I always felt like, especially when you went to like the icy cave where you would find Articuno and Red and Blue, it was just lathered with seals and dugongs. Like it was supposed to be so shoved down your throat. And I feel like dugong in the anime. Let's see if I can find a clip of it saying its name now. I really liked it. I don't know the dugong. Don't know why. Don't know why. Might be from the movie. Either way, I'll have put the clip in, so it's fine. But that makes me think: why is Seal not a basic Pokemon? Because it is a basic Pokemon.
Yeah.
Going
Mm.
into more artworks from the base set that I like, I'm going to do a little quick fire, like 3 or 4. Rattata, I think that's a great one. I really like the Onyx, even though a lot of people seem to think it's quite basic. Base set Pikachu,
No,
make Pikachu
it's
Yeah.
chunky
awesome.
again. It's a hashtag that one day I will get going and people will get behind. And finally, and this is one that we all three were agreeing on before we first started the session, coughing. I
Yeah.
think the coughing from base set
Yeah.
is such a phenomenal artwork for a basic Pokemon. It does just look like it is in the middle of exploding every poisonous gas from its body. And if you're in that room, you would definitely not want to light a match. But it's a great artwork, and I think that it's one of those ones that definitely goes underappreciated against others that we will talk about as we go on. So for
Yeah.
me, Rattata, Onyx, obviously base set Chonkichu, because we're going to make Pikachu chonky again. No more Ozempic for the little yellow mouse, all right? No more. And then coughing, because I think coughing's a great one. Do you boys agree, or are there any of those that you think actually mush? They're naff. What you on about?
It's not that I disagree. Again, I love this set. I agree with you. I also think there's others in there, like of the commons, that I think are incredible. Like
Yeah.
the Abra sitting at the tree, the Ghastly with the
Yeah.
graffiti behind him, and like the shimmer of gas behind him. Even the matchup holding the boulder. And another one that I think goes really underrated. I just like the kind of immersion of the card. Is Tangela that looks like it's stuck in like a web of tangles, a tangle of vines. Um, Underrated Pokemon and one that doesn't get much love. I think that artwork is really cool. I actually think
I
this set
think
has really good artwork.
me and Ed, and I know Ed's probably going to say the same thing here, so I'm sorry if I steal your point. But we talk about how, and so do you, to be fair, how commons, hollows, and reverses have lost their specialty in the hobby these days because there's so much IRs, ARs, SARs, SIRs, MURs, TBH, HDMI, ATV, and USB and USB-C and all that shit. Yeah, SBI,
SBI.
and all of that. And it's to a point where commons like that Tangler, I scrolled past it a minute ago, and now I look back at it, I'm like, that looks amazing. Like it looks like it's tangled itself up trying to use Vine Whip against somebody, and somebody's used Confuse Ray and it's having a really shit time. The Ghastly, I was looking at just as I mentioned the coughing because they're next to each other in the set, and I thought, God, that's actually that's such a good artwork. Imagine
Yeah.
that as a hollow, like the walls hollow behind it, would look incredible. Ed, I'm sorry to steal the minute from you. Please take it back. Tell me how you feel.
So, again, Trunkachu, can't not shout it out. Incredible how Pikachu should be. Coughing, unbelievable. Ghastly, one of my all-time favourite Ghastly cards. I still have my original one from my childhood. It is insane. A couple ones that I really want to shout out is actually the Pidgey. Super simplistic artwork. Is actually just sat on the Windows XP background. But you know what? I love it for it. It is absolutely sensational.
I'm never going to be able to look at that card ever again without seeing the Welcome to Windows logo. And I'm a Mac user, so I never ever see that. But now that's ruined. That's my life done. Thanks, Ed.
You're welcome. It only took me a few minutes. And then the other one I actually really want to shout out that I feel like massively gets underappreciated, overlooked, and the Pokemon in general is actually Drowsy. If you have a proper look at that card and see all of the different colours in the Hypnotic Swirl, all I'm going to say is imagine this as a cracked ice hollow and tell me that that wouldn't be like groundbreaking.
Oh,
Like, I feel
that's
like
such
it's
a shout.
Mate.
so good. Like, the shapes are
Absolutely.
already there. You just need to vajazzle
Just
them,
make
like-
those holographic. That would
Yeah.
be
Hollow 'em up.
just
Uh,
just give them a vajazzling, please, darling.
Yeah, I just think it's such an incredible artwork, and I remember being like terrified of Drowsy as a kid because he was always like giving it all of this, and like, yeah, I just feel like that card perfectly encapsulates him. And again,
Him and Mr. Mime are the uncles that are not invited to the wedding.
oh, 100%. But I feel like the vast majority of these Pokemon, like even Metapod, they all look like they could do damage, and like none of them are like particularly memed at this point. Like Dejuo, for instance, you sort of think of as just the heads like nutting each other constantly and getting in their own way. But here, you can tell he's fast as fuck, boy. Like he's just, I'm fast as fuck, boy. But like you can see that it's like all of that character and charms there. But then I feel like when the artworks don't hit, they really miss in this for me.
I think Doduo is one that I love. I love that one. It gives me Roadrunner
Yeah.
from back in the day vibes, which I really love. I'm going to say this with all the best intent in the world. Why does Diglett look like somebody who's buried under sand with a rather large pair of breasts? Like when you look at that card, just look at it, right?
What?
Head, and then there's just two massive lumps. It looks like a rather voluptuous laddie in the sand. Just going to move on from it.
Subscribe to Diglett's OnlyFans.
Subscribe to the Diglett OF.
Diglett used OF. You are totally simped out.
It was super effective on my bank account. I think the Charmander is a classic. The little, oh my god, I've caught this on fire from my tail. I think it ties in really well to the anime because I think there's a lot centered around Charmander and his tail in the anime.
Yeah.
The Bulbasaur, I think, is one that we're going to get to and probably would have mentioned in the next round of what we love from the commons. It looks great, and I love the little steam coming off the bulb on his back, like he's just fired off a bullet seed or a leech seed. The Abra, which you've mentioned, Asleep Against the Tree, it's a classic. Seal, we've had a little bit of a talk about. Raticate, there's not really a lot going on there, which is a shame because the Rattata is so good, in my opinion. The War Turtle, he's just having a great time on the beach. Yay! Kind of does look like that to me, which is a bit strange. One that I love, and I think a lot of people dislike it because of the I've given it away because of the Pokemon shape. I love the Porygon. I love the almost like Microsoft Paint-esque style to that Pokemon. It's giving 90s art attack.
Yeah, big
I
time.
don't know why or how. It is.
It's given you can't go to Egypt. You've got it in your back
It's giving
garden.
Zambuki. If you ever
Look at the
remember
pyramids.
that program as a kid, Zambuki, where they would
Yeah.
make up like the 3D models, that's what that program was for me. It
Unbeatable
was that Pokemon.
Bamzuki. What a show.
Bamzuki, not Zambuki. Zambuki, something you probably drink at a bar somewhere in a country that I can't pronounce. But yes, it looks like you could make it on that, which is great. I really like the Nidorino.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool looking one. I think Ed will like it because it's Baby Kaiju.
Yeah.
And we will get onto Big Daddy King later on. Poliwell, Machoke, I'm not really that bothered by. I think that, yeah, Machoke's not as good as Machop, which is disappointing. Magmar,
I agree.
another one that it looks kind of cool. It's just on fire. It looks like it's in the heart of a volcano, which is the whole centering around the Magmar versus Charizard, where, you know, Ed said back in the early days of the podcast where Charizard wouldn't do the job for Magmar. No, sorry, brother, that doesn't work for me.
On that Magmar, though, I really feel like this almost should have been the first time that they introduced a connecting artwork, because on its own in isolation, it looks quite shit, in all honesty. But if you had it like paired off with something that was like another card in the set, or even a following set, I feel like actually it would really change it, because you got so much scope to have him like facing off against like a Charizard, or like having something opposing him. Whereas at the minute he just looks like he was like, oh, which camera am I meant to look in whilst we're recording? Oh shit, you're over there. Like it just doesn't quite hit, which is such a shame, because as a kid, Magmar had like one of the best introductions in the anime, cool ass looking Pokemon, and I just feel like as the first introduction to him in card form, it's just sort of like,
Yeah, like the card is just like, I have a buttock for forehead. You know that meme where the building's on fire, and is it Jake from?
no, he looks like him though from Adventure Time.
And when the building's on fire, and he's just sat there like, this is fine.
Yeah.
That's the Magmar card. That is base set Magmar 20 years pre-hand. I think the final out of most of the basic Pokemon, because I'm having a click through, Dratini, it's kind of cute, but it's nothing special. Growlithe, we kind of talked about this. It looks like it's been superimposed on. It's kind of let down by having the red outline around it. It would have looked cooler with it, like maybe running through the field, maybe giving it that Doduo-esque.
Just a bit
sort
more
of style would be
immersion,
better.
not
Yeah,
slapped on.
just kind of like, here's a sticker, that'll do.
Yeah.
Magikarp, I think, is the last in a great line of base set cards. It's a great card, great artwork. Only thing I find is he's a bit orange,
The colour is so off on it.
which as a ginger person I find really weird to say.
Yeah.
But he's a bit orange. He's a bit too ginger for somebody that's supposed to be red. But
She's
I
looking
think
at that like, that's a bit much.
that's brother.
That's offensive.
Brother.
I'm gonna disagree with you, Mush. I actually think, as someone that loves Magikarp, I think that's a bit of a naff card.
Everyone's allowed to be
I don't
wrong
like
once,
that
mate. It's
artwork.
fine.
I think there's much
Go on,
better-
boys, scrap.
I know, that's why I'm correcting you.
You thought the podcast was bad. Jesus
I
Christ, it
actually
only
think-
gets worse from here.
I think, looking at all the uncommons, I think there's a couple that I love that you've missed out in your analysis, and the two that I'm looking at right now is, I have to bring out my boy, my favourite ghost, that Haunter card, just popping out. Simplistic background, but the
I'm
artwork
getting to
of
it.
the
It's not a
Haunter
basic
itself, I
Pokemon. It's an
absolutely
evolved
love.
form.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mate, here's the gun
okay.
you've just jumped
Alright, I
back.
thought you were just looking at all the uncommons. I apologise. Alright, go on.
Hi,
No,
Tone.
no.
Imagine
you-
then.
This is a
talking about
round
your shit,
table.
Magikarp.
It's supposed to go around the table.
Hi, Tone.
Otherwise,
You're
it's just a
cordially
Bush show
invited
featuring
to,
you two.
Cordially invited to eat shit, mate.
If you could consume feces and then cease to be.
Actually, before we go any
crack on.
further, I want to open this question out to you, and I know neither of you will have prepared for it because I've just thought of it. In your opinion, which is the best artwork for the starter Pokemon?
What, in this set?
As in between Squirtle, Blastoise, and Charmander, just from base set.
Squirtle, Blastoise, and
Oh shit!
Charmander.
Yeah, fuck it. No, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander.
Bulbasaur.
Little Bulbasaur and Charmander. As a Squirtle boy for life, I'm
Good.
gonna say
Bulbasaur.
We're all agreed.
I think that the Squirtle,
it is.
it's the colouring and the
Yeah.
fact that he looks like he stood on a fucking
Yeah.
couple of nice juicy plums. If you've seen East Bound and Down, you'll know what I'm saying. Couple of plums, right for farmer's market. Can I trade it for your
Nice,
Twinkie? No, these are my plums. I think that the Charmander's cool, and it's a good kind of like reminiscent of the anime. I can't remember what came first. I'm sure base set came before the anime, which is great. Whatever came first, it reminds me of the other one. But I think the Bulbasaur is the best design of the 3 starters. I think that we haven't had a trio of starters more iconic than those 3. And I think that even if you compare them to the bases of Cyndaquil, Totodile, and Chikorita, and even if you go into Gen 3, I think those first 3 gens base set wins every time. I think that's just how I feel anyway.
Absolutely.
Moving on, fuck the Haunter. Next up,
Oh,
no,
hang on. Oh,
I'm joking.
Fuck your face.
Calm down. It's just a commercial. I think the Haunter's fantastic. I actually think the Haunter's nicer than the Gengar, in my personal opinion, because I think there are some fantastic Gengars down the line. I think Ed
talking about
owns probably the best Gengar ever done.
There's
Is it not
even
Gengar in
this
base?
set,
No, it's in
I'm sure I saw it earlier.
No.
To be fair, I haven't touched on the fact that there's not a fucking Arbok in base set, so it's a good way for me to segue my way into, excuse me, Pokemon Company. What the fuck? Who the fuck do you think you are? What the hell is this? I've asked for fish and chips and you've brought me mushy peas and fresh air. Where is the substance, the sustenance, the greatness to my meal? I'm offended. Anyway, that was my kickoff about the fact that I had to wait till Jungle to get an Arbok card. You absolute tossers. What was it Tone called somebody the other way? Dingbat. You dingbat. You cockwomble. You bottom snoggers.
Bottom snogger!
But yeah, I think the Haunter's fantastic. I like the Ivysaur. I like the Kadabra and the Jinx. The Kadabra and the Jinx for me are very similar,
Yeah.
but I think that's just because they're a dark background with a red behind it.
Yeah.
One that I think that goes underrated, and I wonder if you two feel the same. I really like the Kakuna.
Yeah.
I'm literally highlighted over it right now, waiting to say.
I don't know if
Such
it's
a great card.
me or if it's the way it's drawn, but to me it almost looks like it's about to evolve.
It's
Like the bright ring around it
Yeah.
and the spreads. It could just be a.
The framing.
I always had this theory that it was a leaf and a water droplet, and Kakunas are actually just that small. But
I can see where you're coming from.
But the idea that a Kakuna is small enough to fit inside a water droplet would make a Beedrill be,
Actual size.
crushable by fingers.
Yeah.
And I think if a Beedrill came near me, I would just kind of keel over, die, pull my pants down, and say, "Please be nice."
Accept my fate. I sort of
Yeah.
felt like that.
Here's a
Kakuna-
£5, please be pleasant.
That Kakuna, I always thought was used in self-destruct. It looks like it's especially from playing Pokemon
I
Stadium.
can see that.
If you were to use like Electrode or Voltorb, when they blow themselves up, they do that. They shine white and then explosion. And I always thought like, oh my god, I can't wait to use that. And then you're just doing like String Shot and Harden, and it's like, we aren't doing bits here, are we, boys?
String Shot and Harden are
Well,
the two things I do best
Talking
in
of
life.
Harden, that's
And the battles that they usually come in last just as long.
He only needs 2 balls as well.
Unfortunately, both of mine are great balls. Way.
there is one thing that annoys me about this card, and it's that the again, I used to collect cards and look at them and read them all. Have you seen what the move is? It's not Harden. It's Stiffen.
Oh dear.
Now.
Like,
Mrs. Brown, calm down.
what? Excuse me? Excuse me? It should be Harden. How? Yeah,
It's a weird
I don't like
translation.
that detail.
Obviously not a translation because they're the same thing, different words. Because the English language is 3 languages wearing a tall trench coat pretending to be one. But it is a strange one. I think that I'm not sure what they were thinking of when they came up with that one. Somebody is having a good laugh in the Pokemon offices when they got this one. Hey mate, look, they printed Stefan. Get in. Going into my final.
Next set, it's going to be hard on.
Now I'm just thinking about moves that sound like sexual things, like rock polish. God's sake! Right, moving on. We are grown ups. We're getting towards the tail end of the set, and we're getting into the good stuff. Next couple I want to mention, Dugong. I think is a
100%.
great artwork, and I think an underrated Pokemon, in my opinion. And it's just had an absolutely gorgeous card dropped in the new Phantasmal Flames or Inferno X in the most recent days. I'll flash it up now. Bang. Doesn't it look nice? Isn't it pleasant? Thank you, gentlemen. I always love that whenever I try and flash something, there's hands appear on my screen. Like,
The amount
when
of times
usually
I've
one of
been
you
done,
gets covered.
Yeah, I've been done dirty because I've gone like this and it's off to my right, and I'm like, fuck!
Do you know what's even worse? Is a lot
The
of the time I just
opposite
kind of
side
scale
I
it and
point
put
to,
it somewhere where I can.
swear.
Okay, right. Yep, that do. Next, move on, because we end up doing your strongest analytics with like 800 lilies that I've got to put up and make sure they're in and out quickly before the simps press pause.
Mush's hard drive is
Mush,
Yeah,
you
my hard drive in search history is dodgy, and that's just from the podcast. Some other top mentions. I like the Farfetch'd because of the like watercolor background, but I think that it could have had a cooler background. It's it's okay. It's poke mid at best. Dratini's nice with a little sunset, but again, it's a bit like the Growlithe and the Arcanine that I'm about to bring up. It looks like it's been superimposed onto a picture that's already ready.
Yep.
Pidgeotto, it's okay. It's not
Yeah.
Pidgeot, which is clearly superior. It's an alright card. Dugtrio, it looks like 1990s like kids anime, and I'm not about it. It looks like
No.
badly done Transformers. It's a weird looking card. The final 3 before we go into the 2 rares for the set, because rares were actually rare back in the day.
Well, Dugtrio's are rare as well. There's quite a few rares. I think there's 6.
Charmeleon, Arcanine, Pidgeotto, Electrode, Electabuzz, Dugtrio, Dragonite, and Beedrill. I can't read. These glasses are just for show. So, as I was saying, Dugtrio, I'm not a big fan of. Pidgeotto, it's not the Pidgeot from Jungle, which is superior. Shout out to Mind Over Mewtwo, thank you, buddy. I've still got it in my binder, and I do jerk to it regularly. Charmeleon, I think's a really cool card, but I don't understand why he looks like he's using his tail as a weapon. That just must hurt.
Yeah.
He's not using his tower as a weapon.
Oh yeah,
I
but
think he's doing
but
Fury Swap.
looking at the card,
He's swiping his arm.
first glimpse, it looks like he could be flinging the fire off of his tail,
Well,
which
it
just looks like it would hurt.
Or his other arm
looks at
has
it like
been
that.
replaced by a tail, so he's got one arm and then just like a fire branch. Like
It's a hard one. It's a hard one to tell. It's still a cool card. I like the card. That's where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
I think the Electabuzz we can all agree is an iconic artwork because it also went as the movie promo as well.
Absolutely.
Yes,
it did.
One that I love, and I feel like a lot of people didn't like it because it does have a bit of a weird eyebrow thing going on, is the Electrode.
Yeah.
See, I loved
No,
it,
I
but
love
so
it.
many people used to say, why does
I
this
really
Pokeball
love it.
have
I
a
think-
frown line?
Because he's about
And
to
I do
blow
kind
up.
of... Yeah,
Do you blow up
yeah,
smiling? Because I certainly fucking
Yeah.
don't.
I would at the moment. Life is tough. But I love it. I love the pops of colour in the background. It's another one that I think we discussed earlier that should have been a holo.
Yeah.
Because that holo with those
100%.
kind of colours would have been,
Absolutely.
it would have become chase worthy.
Yeah.
Finally, the
Yes.
Beedrill. I love the Beedrill. I love the Beedrill. I think that it looks like it's about to spring out of that tree and
Yeah.
come at you with his big stinger. And then the final of the rares before we go into the holos, and it's probably the prettiest artwork of the base set. It is the Dragon Air. I think it's
What a card.
absolutely, and I think for once, on 3 lads, we can do this together. 1, 2, 3. Phenomenal artwork.
Phenomenal.
It is an absolutely phenomenal piece of artwork, and I think that it
Stunning.
truly has that. I'm trying to think of the word. The Aurora Borealis in the background. It's
Elegance.
elegant. That is what I'm looking for. It is an elegant,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful card before it becomes that fat orange thing. Most people call it mush. Some people call it Dragonite. I think it's a really, really nice card. Just comparing myself to the fact that I'm going to have wings up here next week. I've mega evolved. Have that, Dad.
If you can please come onto the podcast with your hair in like fucking pigtails at the front, I will keel over fully. It would be incredible.
Next week, I'm going to log into our studio and it's just going to be like. As they just...
If you find a way to spring
And it'll
load
still
your
look
hair,
better than Mega Dragonite.
What sort of like? So anyway, what I
hairspray.
wanted to say was,
Hairspray and gel.
I'll try. My
He's
wife is a very
Mushka
talented woman. I will see what she can do for me. But yeah, before we move into the
You can
hollows,
take
do
the
you two
grab
have
ahead.
anything you want to add on to the rares?
yeah, I think the Dragonair is the perfect example of this. Is like, and the Zapdos, to be fair, the ones that you could see almost translated into an illustration rare by like modern standards, because obviously like dependent on when you were in the hobby, out the hobby, re-entered it, what you picked up, what your preferences are. I feel like looking back over a lot of these, the big thing that is like sort of standing out is that, like we've said, the Arcanine is like stuck onto a scene, doesn't really make sense. Farfetch'd could have been a lot better. The Dugong, another prime example of one that could easily turn into an illustration rare. Like, you just extend that artwork, you've got yourself a beautiful card. But when you look through like the majority of these in like isolation, a lot of the like rares don't actually hit for me at all, if I'm honest. Like, I feel the Dugong, incredible. Electrode, just because of how vibrant it is. The Dragonair and the Zapdos. The Beedrill I do like, but I feel like it's teetering on the edge of it has just been plonked there because it's got the weird green outline, which is quite a shame. But overall, I sort of feel like the ones that hit really, really bloody hit. But the ones that don't, like that Doug Trio, that is an absolute fucking shambles, that one. Like,
It is like a penalty shootout, and it's like when you score, it is top left corner. You have hammered that into the net. When you miss, it's left the stadium somehow.
it's in the car park.
Yeah, it's in the car park of the stadium next door. No one's quite sure how you've managed it. I will say, I believe the Zapdos is a hollow. That is why I've left it off of the rares list.
Oh shit, yeah.
I will quickly also say I think I'm in the middle of both of you with Beedrill. I see both of your points. I think that card, maybe it's nostalgia, but I got a lot of love for it, for the nostalgic value. But Ed brings up a good point where if you're looking at cards that could extend out into an art rare, that probably wouldn't be one of them.
I think in my head, I get what you're saying. But for me, if I take your point and combine them, if you extend that out, and if where the writing is, that's actually like trees that are then becoming ground level, it would then look like you're looking at it from above.
Yeah.
That's how I make that card higher up in my personal tier. Plus, it's a poison type, so therefore it immediately is already above everybody else for me.
Yeah. No, I can fully see that. I sort of feel like if they just tweaked the pose of it as well, that would help. Like, even if it was just slightly at an angle, because at the minute it is like stood in midair, and like I know it's got wings, but it is very much like got both feet planted, ready to attack. There's like, would that happen if you're like looking up at it perspective wise? And I don't know. It's so almost there for me, but it's just missing that bit of polish.
I think that's why this works beautifully, because you're bothered by it.
Yes.
I'm not bothered by it at all. Toner's gone, no, you're right and you're right. It's how somehow we haven't killed each other yet, and we've managed to get all the way through the set.
I want to hit you both with a hypothetical, kind of like Ed just did with which is
you had me. You wanted to
imagine.
hit me.
I'm gonna call out some cards here. So going back to modern era, think about the King Gambit. Think about the Palafin from Obsidian Flames. Imagine a Beedrill, Kakuna, Weedle
Ooh, hello.
card like that, and imagine like a tree background similar to that Beedrill card, and on the branches you've got the Weedles and the Kakunas hanging off around the bottom and the sides, with a big fat Beedrill right at the front.
I would 100% fuck with that. I really like the idea of like if
Hmm.
it's the King Gambit that I'm thinking of, where it's like loads of pawn yards along the bottom, then some
Yeah.
Bisharps, and then a big. Like it would actually look really cool to have loads of
Yeah.
Weedles at the bottom with their little horns, and then like
Yeah.
a bit of bushwork, some tree, and then Kakuna's stuck to all the trees, and then
Kakunas
one
hanging
big
off.
Beedrill in the
Yeah.
middle, just being like, "Yo, we're gonna go fuck up them Caterpies right now. You get me? Let's go. This is my forest, my guy, my man."
I feel like as well though that would work brilliantly in the same way that the 151 illustration rare and special illustration rares connected, in the fact that it wasn't side by side. Which, when we do come to discuss 151, I will reiterate how much that fucks me off. But the fact that they go like up, that would work perfectly because you could have the Weedle at the bottom of the tree, and then like
Yeah.
the further up, and then like you say, Beedrill at the top ready to pounce. It would work perfectly for that. But why? Why have artworks connect that way? No, stop.
Well, I think it's the same with the Shedinja and Ninjask from Mega
Symphonia.
Mega Symphonia,
Symphonia.
where it connects downwards and it works perfectly.
Yeah.
Because obviously Shedinja being the husk and the ghost type of the two, it would be really cool. In my head, it's a 2-card connector, but it means that either Weedle or Kakuna doesn't have a card. So you either have Weedle with Kakunas on, or you have a Kakuna card with Weedles on, because Beedrill isn't going to share a card with one of those two.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent as well of the Tarantula and Spidops with the Scyther in the middle.
Yeah.
Like you could connect
just
it that
gonna
way,
say
where
that,
it's like
yeah.
you could have a Weedle and a Beedrill card, and Kakuna could connect between the two, and then
Yeah.
you give Kakuna maybe a holo, or an. No, just give it a holo. I love Kakuna in the line because it looks like it's wearing this little tie and he's a kind of cool little yellow bulb, but he's not getting an art rare. All right, sorry, buddy. All right, this is a club. You're not coming in. You're wearing the wrong crepes. This is not an Air Max 95 kind of place.
I think as well, if they're gonna do art rares, I think it's gonna be like a Metapod and Kakuna kind of vibe.
I'd love to
Like,
see a
they're both
Metapod
gonna get
Kakuna
another
having a
rare together
fight
and
on
they'll
an
be
art
connected.
rare.
Or just give me it as a tag team. Like the most
Metapod and
annoying.
Kakuna,
Yeah.
the most useless tag team. All it could do is stiffen.
Yeah,
Its two moves are stiffen and harden.
but have Koga,
Stiffen and
have
Harden, that's
Koga
it.
as the trainer. Have him just tie them both together. You get them to use Harden nunchucks.
This is why we're getting cancelled. We've turned Pokemon into viable weapons. We are going to move now into the hollows. There are 16 from where I am all the way to the top. We'll do one and we'll talk about it quickly each, and then we're going to do our top 3 from the set, and then we're going to rank the set as a whole. First hollow up, because we're going bottom to top, Zapdos. 100% it's a banger.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a vintage Zapdos hollow that I dislike. I think my favourite is probably Fossil or Rocket. But this is a banger.
Which set is it that has this artwork but it's a non-hollow? Because that does exist. And I am racking my brain.
Base set 2?
It
Maybe
might
it's
be
Base Set 2.
Yeah. Because I'm looking
Find
at that
out
now.
in about 3 episodes' time.
Yeah, certified banger. Absolutely stunning. Arguably the most beautiful overall. Definitely up there.
Tone's got nothing to add. Tone's just happy with it. He's like, yep, cool.
Sorry, I'm trying to Google Zapdos non-hollow. No, honestly, yeah, it is a stunning card. I think I agree with Mush. I think the fossil one is better. I think, but still a very nice.
Before we move on to the next one, my only gripe is Articuno and Moltres didn't get a card in this set, and Articuno is my favourite of the 3.
Same.
Ed?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Ed to go, oh, I'm a Moltres fan, and both of us just be heartbroken by it.
No, I'm a Galarian Moltres fan, but overall not as like the main one of the three.
I think Zapdos has some of my favourite artworks. I think there's an Articuno from maybe the Neo era that I really love as a holo that I do want to pick up at some point in the future. But the Zapdos from Fossil and the one from Rocket are the two that I love the most.
I think Go on.
I was just going to say, and it's not my favourite of the three birds. That was it.
I was going to say, I think Articuno is probably my favourite of the regular ones, and as well, I feel like it's the most, sounds stupid, bird-like legendary bird.
Yes.
In the sense of like you could actually see that one knocking about, whereas Zapdos, it's like if he flies into a tree, he is cutting that tree and he is embedding himself in the tree because them wings be spiky. And Moltres, how does he have a nest? Like he's burning anything. But
yeah, you're quite literally. It reminds me, we were talking about that bit from Peep Show when Super Hans is at the funeral when he's like, Jez, as somebody who really knows me, is the bottom half of me on fire? And Articuno and Zapdos would just be sat there like, yes, Moltres, yes, it is.
Not
Get
just
out
the bottom
of the
half.
fucking tree.
All of it is on fire now.
Yeah, please remove yourself. It's getting warm in here. Next up, we have everyone's favourite grass starters final evolution. We have the Venusaur Holo. I like it. However, my God, does he have the fattest, like... Oh.
Very frog-like.
It's
toe.
very frog for the frog.
Yeah.
Like, I know he is like kind of like a frog, but like, wow, that man is mid-ribbit.
I also feel like they've done him dirty, like in terms of scale. Like as we'll get on to talking about obviously Blastoise and Charizard a bit later on, but when you look at those two, it's like there's more going on around them. They've got like a bit of a dynamic background. There's more color, whereas they've got the big green cabbage and they've gone, let's put a big old green behind him. So it's just
zoomed in.
Yeah, and again the colors are really washed out. I don't know if that's like an issue with printing at the time or what it is. It's like when you look at that flower on its back, it's like obviously we have hindsight so we can tell what it is. But I'm looking at it now and it's like that's like a Mackey's burger that's got the shitty lettuce poking out of it.
That is a sad Big Mac.
Yeah, literally, that's the Big Mac that you dropped on a drunk night out and then you've rediscovered it and it's like, Father, you've come back for me. But yeah, I just sort of feel like it looks like they've connected two separate things and just sort of like smushed it, in my opinion. And they've made Venusaur far too big here. He should have been like scaled back, had like some trees or overgrowth in the background. Sort of like what we saw with the 151 special illustration rare. Obviously not to that scale, but like just something. Whereas this feels very two-dimensional, which is a shame, especially when you compare it to the other starter final evolutions.
Yeah. No, yeah, I totally agree. I just think it looks too bulky of an artwork for the card, and again, it's like it's giving Pokemon meets Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Like the neck, it's just weird. It's it's definitely again where we said, and again, feel free to disagree with me, but I think you both agree. Where we said Bulbasaur had the best of the starter first stage evolutions, or the basic, sorry. Second stage evolution, Venusaur's the worst of the three. We'll get into the other two, of course, but it
hurts my heart to agree, but it does have the worst artwork of the three.
Yeah.
Even though it is the best of the three Cantonian starters. I know, Tone. I know. All right, I know. All right, leave it. Next up, we have Raichu in all his chunky, I've just finished yoga and I'm gassed glory. I don't know why, but when I look at it, it's like, yay! That's what it looks like. I think this has a much better Pokemon color to holo color ratio. It's a lot more vibrant. It's definitely more noticeable. And I think it's something that we will see going forward is that a lot more of the holos have a much different holo color to themselves. There's not too many that I'm seeing as we're going forward that I'm like, wouldn't it be better if this had that bar
Yeah.
one, which we'll get onto after that. So for me, I like the Raichu. It's a good card.
Yeah, I think at first glance I was like, oh yeah, that is fantastic. But then the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, actually, it's okay. Like, I like the holo on it, perfect, absolutely fantastic. But something about this card just feels off, in my opinion. When I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's so much more, especially when you think a rare from this time. This was like the big thing. Obviously, like you want one of the starters, but looking at this, I'm just a bit like, I actually would rather just have the chunky Pikachu, I think.
I disagree. I loved Raichu as a kid. Always preferred Raichu over Pikachu, and that Raichu holds a lot of nostalgic love for me. I think that's an iconic Raichu pose. I think it's an incredible holo. I really, really like it.
I think it's a good card. I'm not saying it's the best artwork, but I think if you take into account the time, the Pokemon, the artwork, and the holo, it's a good card all round. One that really disappoints me, and it's sad to say this because I actually really like the Pokemon, Poliwrath. I think it's in the same problem that Venusaur has, where it's a coloured Pokemon on a coloured background that are too similar. While Poliwrath is a good blue in comparison to the dark blue that it is set on, it either makes the holo seem dull and not shine enough, or it makes Poliwrath seem the wrong colour. Like it, I think there are better holos that we're going to touch on as we go further on.
I think they just needed to zoom out of him a little bit because it's like for no apparent reason, as we look at the card, the foot that's on its right, or what would be his left foot, is like poking out the edge of the card, and it's like it's
Mm,
a little detail that is actually quite frustrating when you think of every other card that we see within this set. I disagree on the background. I actually really like it. How it looks like he shot the pattern from his chest out. Obviously, there's like all the bubbles and everything flowing around him. I just feel like the actual colouring, I agree with the washing him out, especially when you think of the the solid blue like background of the card in general, and then you've got him being blue on a blue background. It's just a bit like it can get lost. If it wasn't for that black and white swirl, it'd be quite hard to pick it out. But I think this is better than the Polly Wag and Polly Whirl. And I feel like it is a pretty like it's what you'd want from a final stage evolution in that he looks like he could do some damage. I think it's a pretty cool card.
I agree. I think it is a pretty cool card. I kind of like the blue on blue, but blue's one of my favourite colours, so it is what it is. But again, yeah, I agree with Ed. It's a bit too zoomed in. Um, and it's a great card, but yeah, not to get too ahead of ourselves. There's better hollows in the set.
I think for sure as well. And one of them is definitely one of the next ones. A card that I think
Oh,
sleeps in comparison
oh,
to a lot of them, and
oh.
clearly both of you know where I'm about to go with this, but I'm talking about the Ninetales Hollow from Base Set.
Unbelievable.
I think it has one of the coolest ideas and hollows in the background with the little, and I'm going to call them phantasmal flames because I can't think of a better way to describe them. But the wisps and the flames that look like it's coming from the hollow make this a top tier hollow in the set.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more that can be said other than this card is absolutely iconic. I feel like the fact that Ninetales started with this artwork, it made you feel like, right, this Pokemon, like you touched on earlier with like Seal and Dugong, I almost feel like this Pokemon could have been like a bigger deal overall, especially like I'm sure I'm remembering this correctly, but like Brock has Vulpix, doesn't he? And like that kind of relationship, it's like, okay, is that going to be Ash's Pikachu, but for Brock, and like that kind of thing.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm surprised Ninetales didn't pick up more. When again, if this was your first introduction and you pulled this as a kid, I don't know how you couldn't be like immediately attached, being like, "Yep, this is the best thing ever." And it's like I recently picked this up in the Japanese 20th anniversary, or what would have been Evolutions in English version of the card, because I was just like, I can't not pick that up. Like, can you look at that artwork and just tell me that that is not stunning? Like, it's incredible.
It's an amazing card. It's one of the rare hollows that survived my childhood, and I still have it. And it's such a great card, in person, online. Such a one of my favourite hollows of the set.
Definitely. I think there is a lot of regret in me for not still having the one that I had as a kid. And the more I look at it,
Oh, I feel that to my core.
the more the more I look at it, the more I think, okay, cool. Well, I'm going on eBay after we finished filming this episode of our first edition of Set Down and talk about it, so that I can go and find myself a Japanese version. Now, we're going to move on to number 11. And I'm not going to introduce this one. I'm just going to say that A, I love the card, and B, I love the Pokemon. Ed, you may have the floor, my good man.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. Fighting out of the Kanto region, the reigning, defending, undisputed king of Pokemon, king of Kaijus, we have the Nidoking from Base Set. I think this card is nothing short of absolutely phenomenal. The whole presentation, the posing, iconic Sugimori artwork. I think as well that this is either the exact same or very similar to the artwork that is used on the Cardass version of Pokemon as well. So the Pokemon cards that we had before we had Pokemon. And there's nothing wrong with this card. There is nothing that I can fault this card. Vibrant ass hollow, so many different colours flying about. And the overall presentation, again, if this was your introduction to Nidoking as a Pokemon, imagine being like 4 years old pulling this out of a pack. Like, you'd straight away fold it because you'd be like, oh my god, Death Grip, this is incredible. Nobody else can touch it, as I did. But I just feel like it's just perfect, in my opinion.
Absolutely stunning hollow. Like the color effects in the background, just it frames it perfectly. And I know we have discussed a couple already where it's a bit too big for the hollow behind it, and it is quite big for the hollow, but for Nidoking it works. It really does work. And yeah, having big beefy Nidoking on that background is great hollow.
I think it's one of the very few Pokemon that should be that big.
Yeah.
And as a big fan of poison types and a big fan of Nidoking, I love this card. I actually did pull one myself as a kid, and then immediately traded it for the Gyarados because I am a big Gyarados stan. What up? The only thing I hate about it, and it's funny that you mention evolutions, why did they make my boy a psychic type card? Why'd you do that to me? The green makes the purple pop. Come on now. Speaking of purple popping, it takes us perfectly into number 10. It's a card that I think I'm probably going to get hated on for saying that I don't think is as good as I think it should be, but I do still enjoy it. It is the Mewtwo Hollow. Now, obviously everybody, big Mewtwo stands out there. Everybody loves a Mewtwo. It was the iconic villain from the first movie. There's many Mewtwo cards that have come since then that are absolutely top tier without fault, and I cannot say more than that. But I just think that for what was supposed to be the big bad and was supposed to have all this mad power, it's a very boring hollow. When you compare it to the Ninetales we've just discussed, when you compare it to the Nidoking that we just talked about where it's got multiple colours in, when you compare it to the Machamp, the Gyarados, the Charizard, that have all got swirls of colour, water, style, power, fire, it deserved better, in my opinion. And that's all I'm going to say before I probably get sniped by Ross.
That's alright, I'll dive in front of the bullet, because I'm actually going to say that this is probably either the or second most disappointing hollow in the set for me. I know that's a big old claim, But like you say, when you think of Mewtwo in the films, how it's introduced, the sheer aura it has, and they've just weirdly made him sunburn and put him on a dark background. It's like there's so much more they could and should have done. Why is he just tanned? I don't get it.
It's not that I disagree. I don't disagree. I think I've got a lot of nostalgic love for this. I think I pulled it as a kid and I either gave it away, traded it away, lost it. I remember having it as a kid. And I've got a lot more love for it now. Again, I think when cards come with memories, they bring more love. Especially how I like this hobby, and because I remember having that card as a kid, I went to Amsterdam last summer and visited a card store out there, Amsterdam Toys, and picked that up while I was out there. So have another Hollow Mewtwo, but I do agree it's a lovely card if you look at it from a nostalgic point of view, but when you look at that artwork of the Mewtwo, its stance, it is quite boring. It's not even like pulling a face. It's literally just pulling a
It
face.
almost looks like the in-game
It's
sprite, I think.
yeah. It's not doing much.
It is. It
Um,
is, I
Not many
believe,
of the
based on the blue and red, or it's either red and blue or
mm,
the yellow sprite
Yeah.
that you see when you find it in Cerulean Cave. Sorry, Tone.
yeah, but I can't say that I dislike the card because again, I've got so much nostalgic love for it. I was so over the moon because I paid like I got a really good deal. It wasn't the best minty copy, but I'm pretty sure I paid less than €10 for it as well. Um, and I was buzzing to just have it back in my collection. Um, I'm not gonna shit on it too much because I do like it, but I will say I see where you lads are coming from. Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. If I could have one, an original base set one, I would fight both of you and a large bear. I would fight Kuma from Tekken to have a go at it, because it would
Is
be
that
it
not
would
me?
be it's just Ed but after a shave. Kuma is Ed pre-shave. That's why he's never got any facial hair because he's actually full bear. Um, I think as we go into the final 9, I want to take 5 of them off the board in a kind of quick fire. Do you like it? Do you not? Tone. I swear to God, we're not here for your heel turns, right? They're for the podcast only. And I want to do 5 in a quick fire. They're good, they're bad, because I think that the final 4 we'll talk about are probably going to take up the final 15 or so minutes we have left of this episode. Going into the final 9, Chansey, yes or no? I'm going to say yes.
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 I think it's a good card. I think it's got a good holo. I like it. I actually have the reprint one of them in a PSA slab that I got the wife because I like it that much. And it's a pink Pokemon, so it's a win for me, and she liked it. Next up, I'm going to pull out the Hitmonchan. And I am also going to give it a yes. Because
Big
I
yes.
actually really like the Hitmons and I like the fighting type Pokemon,
Big,
and it's a
big
good
yes.
holo Pokemon. You know
And
what I mean?
the holo on this one as well really makes it look 3D. Like if you have a good proper look at it, it does look like you've got a bit of perspective on it, which I don't really feel like you had on many other cards in this. Yeah, prime example.
Yep. Here's Tone just now pulling out everything that we're talking about. Next up, I'm going to pull in the Magneton holo, which
Oh,
I think all 3 of us will do the bang the desk. It hits. It's a great
Yeah.
card. I don't think that many of these final 9 I'm going to say no to, apart from one, which I'm going to bring up now, which is the Clefairy.
I was looking at.
And I think I say this from a perspective of somebody that loves all Pokemon. It just does nothing for me. I think there are Pokemon that were in the base set that could have had a holo over this one. You could have given me Holo Dugong over a Clefairy, and I wouldn't have complained. So for me, I'm just going to say no to Clefairy.
the hollow
Weird
and
choice of hollow.
background is better than the Pokemon here.
Yeah.
And finally, before we go into our final four, the Machamp.
Incredible.
The first edition Machamp.
Oof.
The only first edition Machamp, because there is no standard Machamp. It's fantastic. Top tier. 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. It's got
Absolutely.
a great colouring. Its design is fantastic. It's the flex of the first two arms and then the up here. It's great. It's
All
got
the
a great
fists
hollow
flying
pattern.
around in the hollow.
Yeah, it's just there's just nothing about
Unreal.
this designed card that is bad. Nothing, not one.
Absolutely.
So I think all of us are going to give that one the big thumbs up. That one's getting double year. Technically, if I could have 4, if I could Machamp thumbs up it, I would. Now we go into the final 4, and I call these the big 4 of the set because for me, they're the 4 biggest cards in the set, artwork and want-wise. Now you could argue, you could very much come to my house, knock on the door and go, "Oi, dickhead, what about Mewtwo? What about Ninetales?" And I go, "Yeah, that's fair, but have you met my dog? He likes to eat people." And then they would leave quite quickly. But for me, these are the top 4, and I'm going to leave the big one until right at the end, and we can talk about it right at the end. But first up, I'm going to go with the Alakazam Hollow. I think out of the top 4, it's not the top of the top 4. I think it is the bottom of the top 4, purely because I think the other 3 beat it just. It's a great card. I think it's a great hollow. I think it does a really good job to almost make it look like the Alakazam is kind of got that ethereal glow around the outside of him, and he is just charging up some kind of horrendous psychic attack. It's a great card. There's nothing about the design or the hollow that I dislike. Genuinely, it's in my top 5 for this set.
So I'm actually going to disagree on the fact that you say it's the bottom of the top 4. I would actually put this second, I think. I think this is a fantastic card. And again, when you're looking at it, the ethereal glow, the psychic, move type that it's got, I feel like, again, if you were to play Pokemon Stadium and you use, Confusion, this is that animation, just in card form. And as we know, I'm a slut for Pokemon Stadium, so I absolutely adore this card. I would say it's maybe the second best of the final 4.
It's mad to think that you're a slut for anything.
I know.
Well, I'm going to do my classic, and I'm going to go bang in the middle, because I think out of the top 4, it's my third. It's weird, because you look at it and you compare it to the Mewtwo, and they're both basically just standing there, but Alakazam's pops so much better. It just works. There's something about it that just works so well. It is an incredible card. It is literally Pokemon TCG card number 1. Yeah, lovely card.
It's hard to disagree with anybody, and this is why set down and talk about it is all about opinions, and it's not like the podcast where one of us has got to be on top. It's just purely how we feel. Now, I don't want to upset Tone by putting this one next, but I don't think it beats the other water type that's left. But I am going to say that the next one we're going to discuss is the Blastoise Hollow. Now, I'm not putting this above anything else because I think it's better, other than my own opinion. Now, there's something about the Blastoise one that I love. I love the green blending into the blue of the hollow, and I think it is a very good look and a very beautiful artwork. And the Ken Sugimori Blastoise has yet to be topped. No one has drawn this Pokemon in a better style or way than Ken Sugimori. And I think that this card is a prime example of that, that this stands the test of time. You could put this against any full art or hollow Blastoise that has come since then. And yes, I'm looking at you, 151. All right? This Blastoise beats that one. I don't really appreciate the 151 Blastoise. I really don't. I don't know why. See you later, Tone. But for me, personally...
I'm leaving! I'm out!
Imagine we've managed to do nearly
Pissed off!
12 episodes of the podcast, but just saying I don't like the 151 Blastoise, does it? For me personally...
How dare you!
And take this with the big pinch of salt that I'm about to drop. The 151 Venusaur breaks my heart. because it's so bland, because it's just trees and a Venusaur in the middle.
Oh,
Fucking, I'm taking them off
he
again.
just sat back
The
down.
fuck?
It honestly,
Our
and then
box so
the
shit.
151 Zard is just an embarrassment because it's got
Oh, the
no neck.
151 Zard is shite. Pure
That
shite.
I agree with.
But genuinely, as a massive Venusaur fan, I feel that the Mega SIR that we've just got in Mega Evolutions beats the 151. It's just personal opinion. I can feel how I want to feel, but personally, I think that the X and Y promo that we've all talked about how much we love from both Blastoise and Venusaur are better than their 151 SAR counterparts. And I think that the Mega Evolutions Venusaur that we've just got is better than the 151. Personally. Anyway, we digress, and I don't mean to offend or upset. These are just opinions, and it's what the world goes round on. But the Blastoise, this one, is absolutely phenomenal. How do you boys feel about the Blastoise?
This was actually my top spot. I love this Blastoise so much.
Agreed.
The colours, the posing, everything about it is fantastic. I was like, it's really weird. I feel like Bulbasaur is the best starter. I feel like Charmeleon's the best
middle.
Middle, and then Blastoise is the best final.
Yeah,
like they did well in the sense of not one of them getting a straight run of things. I just feel like this is again a perfect card. Like you touched on the blue into the green, the fact that you can see Blastoise's big old cannon, like fucking sick. I just feel like there's not a bad thing you could possibly say about this card, even to the scale of Blastoise. Like we talk about how like Nidoking needs to be big on a card. Blastoise is both big but also kind of small at the same time, and right here it works perfectly.
Heavy set.
Yeah, I'm looking at it though, and the fact that Blastoise is the same height as my wife is a bit odd to think. So when I go and see her after we finish recording, I'll be like, "Pleased to meet you, Mrs. Stoyce. How you doing?"
May I pet you on the shell?
Yeah, it's weird. Your cannons are on the front.
Oh, why are your cannons bigger than mine?
But yeah, I think this is top spot for base set for me. I just think perfect card.
Yeah, absolutely agree. It is the top holo in the set. It is a absolute stunner. It's perfect. I absolutely love it. I've owned it multiple times, but no longer have it in English. It did not survive my childhood. It was one of the most mashed up cards I had. I have luckily recently acquired one in Japanese. I say recently. I think I got a Japanese version back in 2014. I told you boys the story. I got it randomly out of a vending machine in America.
That's wild.
But what I will say is these two boys have just said how it's a great card, it's stunning, they won't ever say a bad word about it. You know, they're never going to talk bad about it. If you go over on Instagram, they've been talking some shit about it because it's currently up.
I haven't once said a word about it. I actually think it's a great card.
Oh, well, let's be honest. When it comes to the shit talk on Instagram, there's no one better than Ed. He's shit talking this card a lot, mister. I won't say anything bad about it. If you do love that card and you agree with me and Ed that this is your favourite from base set, go over to our Instagram, PokéPals_podcast, and go vote.
There's nowhere he won't plug himself.
I will plug myself everywhere, and then I'll plug your ass after we're done here.
Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to edit that whole bit out. And I just want to say,
this
right,
is for the Patreon.
Going forward, right? Stoice is my second favourite holo of this whole set. And the one that I'm about to talk about is number one. Zam is fourth, and I'm only putting that other one third because it is iconic. You cannot deny its iconacy.
You can't.
Is that a word? I don't know. Iconicness. Whatever. Anyway, we go into my favourite holo of base set and a card that I honestly gave away like half my base set and half my holos to trade for because I just needed it and unfortunately don't own it anymore. But one day, sweet Arceus will bless me again. It is the Gyarados Holo.
Oh,
I think that
stunner.
the only thing that makes this not the perfect Gyarados card is that I can see where its tail ends. But again, I am nitpicking because really it's a perfect card. I love the way that the Holo is water going around it, like it's using Whirlpool, which is very iconic in the games and in the anime. Oh my god, I'm going to chin you. Like, come Swansea, it's going to be, hi, welcome to the PokéPals. It's absolutely
Stunning.
it's one of those ones that I could come up with 1,000 adjectives, nouns, verbs, and anything else to describe how fantastic it is. But the only way I can do it any justice is by just calling it the best card in base set from my standpoint. A fantastic card.
I am unfortunately going to disagree. I am not the biggest fan of this artwork at all. I think the colours are just wisey, like a yellow highlighter. I feel like the posing of it, they've really made him seem small. He looks like a leech when he should be this big, powerful, like the dragon that he is. It doesn't hit for me. And
I've really offended Ed with my Blastoise talk.
No, what it is though is when you think in the same era we have the Giovanni's Gyarados,
Oh,
which
even Misty's Gyarados.
yeah, all of these things, in my opinion, massively beat this Gyarados artwork for me. And like I know we're looking at the set in isolation, but when in just a few sets time we get something that is so much better, for me this is quite a disappointing and underwhelming Gyarados, and Gyarados doesn't really have bad cards.
No, not at all.
That's where I am going to agree and then disagree. That is where I agree with you. It has much better cards in the sets to come, but I will go back to the point you made and defend that point. We're looking at this set as a whole. I'm comparing this Gyarados to the other cards in this set. It is better than most, if not all of them, except the Blastoise. I think it's incredible. I get your points. I get that it looks a bit small, but again, I see it as being in the middle of an ocean, and it's. I'm looking at some of the hollows, and I think the reason why I put this higher, which is actually going to be weird because I'm about to put another one for the same reason down lower, but all the hollows are simply just the Pokemon standing there. There's one that's having a sort of move we'll talk about soon, but Gyarados it's so much better. It's in action. It's in a whirlpool. It's such a stunning card. I I can't speak more highly of this card. One thing that does let it down for me though, as a Gyarados fan, is its whiskers. They're not blue or white. Gyarados don't have red whiskers, and that's the bit that puts it off for me. It's weird.
It's a valid,
It's got red
valid
whiskers.
point.
Yeah.
I think this is where set down and talk about it is such a cool thing from a Pokemon collector standpoint, because we're three people that realistically like a lot of the same stuff. But then when you break it down, you go, oh, actually, this set as a whole is fantastic. But this big card in this set, I like it, I dislike it, I don't mind it. It breaks it down perfectly, and we get to the final card of the set that we're going to talk about, and everybody knows which one it is. We've been building up the whole way to it. We are going to talk about the base set Charizard. Everybody from us as a kid to Logan Paul now has held, owned, looked at, kissed, fight for, cried about, bent accidentally while getting it out of the binder, and it, I'm sure, still hurts to this day that you don't have the one that you pulled in the Toy Master somewhere just outside of Slough. Okay? It is an iconic artwork. It's a great holo. It's a great design. Genuinely, I'm not a Charizard fan. I haven't seen a Charizard card that I've truly enjoyed. There's a few. I really like the Paldean Fate Zard. I said that recently on the podcast, and I really
Oh
do
yeah.
want to get myself a copy of it. I actually really like the Obsidian
Desmond.
Flame Zard for the stained glass style. They're both kind of very similar, but I do quite like both of them. I'm lucky enough to have pulled the Obsidian Flame Zard, graded it, and sold it so that I could buy more Arbok because Arbok are more important. And then the recent Mega Charizard. I think all three of us discussed not only the promo but the SAR that's just come out. Phenomenal, but everything in between. Then it's just kind of like I take it or leave it. It's not my favorite. It's my least favorite of the three Cantonian starters. I think it gets preferential treatment, I guess could be the way I'm going to say it. It gets really pushed to the forefront, but I don't think any of us can truly sit here and go, no, 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 that's a bad card. It's not. It's a great card. It's iconic. It's everything about the hobby that at the time it was supposed to be. It was the big chase that everyone was hunting, and it wasn't so that you could go, haha, stonks, haha, I'm going to flip this, haha, I've got 15. It was so you could go, mate, I have a Charizard. I have a Charizard. Like, look in my binder. See that? That's a Charizard. That's my Charizard. It's the epitome of what made base set at the time.
Yeah.
Yes, granted, as we get older, even if you collected base set when you were in the 1999s, I was 6 in 1999, and you were lucky enough to have one. It was not anything other than this is a really cool Pokemon card and bragging rights. And I think that's where this card stands to be, in a lot of people's eyes, the best card in the set. It may not be for us, but it is the most iconic and the most remembered in this set.
Yeah.
How do you boys feel about the Charizard?
I feel like this is the card that transcended Pokemon in the sense of like, yeah, there's some great cards in the set. We've talked about the trio, we've talked about all the other holos. But when you look back at the WotC era, it's the base set Charizard that you want. When you get back into collecting, it's the base set Charizard that you want. It's like, that's the card, and it's like, it is so nostalgia fueled for us because by modern standards, it's not a great artwork. By modern standards, the card's like pretty. I'm actually going to say pretty average. Like when you think of like the Charizards that we've had, again, what artworks have come out, like the promos, the full art, everything. But there is just something about this card that when you look at it, like I would love to have one of these. I will have one of these at some point, whether it's English or Japanese. But Pokemon wouldn't be where it is today without this card, because this isn't just a card in the set. It's not just a Pokemon card. It is like the Pokemon card because of the nostalgia, because of the heritage almost. Like, this is the thing that I think legitimized Pokemon a lot, because it's like, have you got that big fire dragon that's not a dragon? No, well, unfortunately you can't sit at the table with us. Like, it's not a great artwork, it's overhyped, but I still fucking adore it.
I have love for it because of how nostalgic it is. And yeah, I owned one. Yeah, I lost one. It hurts. If I could get one tomorrow, you fucking bet your bottom dollar I'm going to get one tomorrow. But it is a massively overhyped card. And as much as Ed regaled us all with how much it is the Pokemon card, which it is, even when I was a kid and getting into my teenage years, because similar to Mish, I weren't too much older. I think I was 7 in 1999. So when you get into the teenage years and it started to boom much more, and everyone was like, "Oh, base set Charizard." Like, even from being a teenager, I remember it being the card. I, as a big Blastoise fan, never understood why. And even again, similar to the points that Ed pointed out, I didn't get it. I was like, it's a basic artwork. It looks like it's got a mangled arm that's coming out of it. It looks like a rooster with a ball chin. What's its arm doing there? Let's be honest. Yeah, when we said that people are gonna get hate, I'm gonna get hate for this. It looks weird. The artwork is weird. Yes, it's iconic, but what is that arm doing?
Bits.
Um, it's okay. It's iconic, but I'm not the biggest Zard fan. But again, as a starter Pokemon, as a 151 Pokemon, I'll still rate it much higher than a load of others, and I've got a lot of love for it. But it also, and this is where the controversial point is now going to come in, it is also the start of the hobby turning from, or the very first instance of the hobby turning from more collecting and enjoying and Pokemon to stonk dogs, finance. Let's pay far too much for something that isn't worth what it is. This was the very first card that started that. So everything that's happening now, all the scalping, this was the very first thing that started that. This card and collectors trying to get their hands on this card. If we're being brutally honest, and it's not fun to admit and not fun to say. And like I said, if I had the chance to buy one tomorrow, I probably would if I had the money. But again, I would then still consider I'd only do it just so I could collect my base set, not because I want the card, just because I want to complete the set.
It's a
So
fair point.
yeah,
It's very much how I
that's my
feel about Mewtwo from Glory. Although it's great, like it's a great card, but like I'm gonna pay all of that money to own a card that realistically isn't as cool as the Crobat, isn't as memorable as the
or
Nido
the
King,
Nido
and
King.
doesn't give me the same vibes that the Moltres does. So I do
Mm.
get you. Before we go out of our way to put this on our ranking scale and we decide whether it's Pokemania or it's in the bin with Prismatic Evolutions, we must each pick one card that will go into our top three from the set. I think it's pretty obvious who's picking what. Now, I'm going to go first because neither of you are going to pick the card that I'm going to pick, and that's fine because I'm going to pick the Gyarados Hollow as my favourite card from the set. Because for me, it is one of my favourites, and they didn't give me an Arbok Hollow in anything until Team Rocket, and that's why Team Rocket is king. But for me, I'm going to put the Gyarados Hollow as my top three. Now, are you two going to fight over Blastoise, or is Ed going to step aside like a good man and pick Alakazam?
I literally was gonna say I'm gonna let Ed choose, and I'll
Well,
go
we're going to
after
let Ed
him.
choose anyway because that's
And
how it works around
I
here.
think I know.
Edward!
I'm actually going for the Nido King.
It makes a lot of sense. I don't know why I didn't see it coming. It's like Randy Orton hitting an RKO after he bangs the mat with his hands. And then, Tone, by any chance, will you be picking the Chansey?
No, I'll be picking the Ductrio.
Okay, cool.
No, I'm picking the Blastoise. Of course, I'm picking
I
the
nearly dropped a Doug
Blastoise.
Trio in my pants after that statement. Jesus Christ.
The
So we have
Blastoise.
picked Gyarados, we have picked Nidoking, and we have picked the Blastoise Hollows as our top three from the set. Do you agree? What's your top card from the chase? You can let us know down in the comments below or on our Patreon page. Now, before we do leave you and let you crack on with whatever it is that you're getting up to, we must add it to this. Our wonderful tier list, and we must decide whether it stands at Pokémania or it drops all the way to bottom in the bin with Prismatic Evolutions. Our tiers are as follows. Pokémania, it's pretty Goodra. Poké mid tier, it's actually Trubbish, and in the bin with Prismatic Evolutions. Now, I'm going to say, wholeheartedly, it's got to go in one of the top two. I think regardless of how we feel of certain cards in this set, without this set, we wouldn't be here doing what we do on Patreon. Pokemon Hobby wouldn't be anywhere. So I argue that it has to go in one of the top two. And I also argue that realistically, it has to go into Pokemania. It has to go into the top tier purely that without collecting some of these cards and without playing the games, it wouldn't make me want to collect Base Set 2, Jungle, Fossil, everything else that comes after it, Neo, Team Rocket, Gym Heroes, and so on. Every game and every card, I think, owes a little something to Base Set. So I'm going to vote that it goes into Pokemania, which means there are 2 votes left for it to go wherever you want. If all 3 of us can't decide, it goes in the bin.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I've decided right now, here and now, at filming, that if all 3 of us between us cannot get a majority vote, then it goes in the bin. So if I decide it's best, Ed decides it's mid, and Tone says, it's pretty Goodra, it goes in the bin. So I'm going to
Fuck.
say it goes in Pokémania. Feel the pressure.
So I'm gonna go next. So all the responsibilities on Tone.
That's why I always go first.
I am going to be quite controversial here, and I'm going to say it's pokey mid at best, but there is plenty of reasoning here. I think
It's
Ed,
going
you
in the
are
bin, isn't it?
bastard.
It's going in the bin. Unless Toad says it's
Ed, you are
Pokemania, it's going in the
bastard.
bin.
Change your answer now.
because we owe everything that we have now to this set, which is why I think like I will always look back at this fondly, but I feel a lot of it as well is because we grew up with it and this was our set, and I'm really trying to take an objective like look at it, because if I was allowing my feelings and everything to go into this, I did teeter between it's Gudra or mid. The reason I'm saying mid is because I feel like all of the sets, like because they had that foundation, they had what they were able to work with. Everything like progressively got better and better and better and better, but we needed this as the start point. And I feel like there are some incredible cards, but again, I wouldn't go out of my way to say collect all of them. I think how the set's actually laid out, as someone that has a lot of things going on in his noggin, the less said about that, the better. How this set looks when laid out, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I know it's like hollow, rare, like uncommon, common. It doesn't make sense. It's not a cohesive layout. It's not good in that sense.
I think in a hard way, I agree with you, and I think that I give it such a high regard, and I want to put it in the top tier because of, as you say, everything it gave us following it. But I do agree 100% wholeheartedly that, as you say, as a whole set, it's Pokemid.
Yeah.
I will wait to see what Tone says, and I would be willing to potentially change my vote to make sure that what doesn't deserve to go in the bin goes in the bin. So, Tone, how do you feel?
I feel there's absolutely no way this set deserves to go in the bin. I think you both bring incredible arguments, and I think for both of your arguments' reasons, I think similar to a lot of things we discussed in this podcast, I'm urging you both to change your vote because let's be honest, let's be realistic. It is an iconic set. Yes, there are better, but there are far worse. This set deserves Pretty Gudra. I think Mush is right. It needs to be in the top two. It needs to be. I can't go to bed tonight knowing that this has either gone pretty mid or in the bin. I will be tossing and turning knowing that we, a Pokemon podcast, have put the very first set that got us here where we are now in pretty mid just because there are other better sets and that it doesn't lay out well because it holds fucking well in my hand. I tell you that for free.
Can I just clarify
that it is
before?
no. So what I'm saying here
Wow, Tone is already throwing his heel
not
weight
mid.
around as he does on the podcast.
So,
I'm-
if we're throwing
I'm
down, let me
so-
just take my
I'm
hoodie off quick.
I'm hurt that it gets told you're gonna have the pressure and then you're gonna call it mid. It's no. Have your say, but I think realistically, it's not. It is
Ed,
not
roll your bloody
Pokemania.
sleeves down.
Look,
Look,
it's not Pokemania, but it's deserving
I'll
of Google.
tell you what, I will compromise and have it in Gudra, but the one thing I wanted to sort of clarify as well is when we are actually ranking this set overall, are we just ranking the overall set, or are we also then going to be like comparing it? Because the reason I say that is like if we're having like Crown Zenith, for instance, which I think we can all agree one of the best sets going. If that's going to be like in the upper echelon, but then it's next to say base set, that doesn't make sense to me in terms of like the actual quality of the set. I feel like if we were to take a lot of nostalgia out of things, Because if you think a child's first set could have been Steam Siege, they're going to love Steam Siege. A lot of people shit on it. I love it, but that's by the by. We'll get there. But it's like, if you think...
Any chance to bring up fucking Steam Siege, and you will. You'll find it.
But as well, it's like, if you think, though, somebody's first set will be like Scarlet and Violet base. That is their base set. Objectively, we can look at it and say there are underrated cards in it, but overall, not the best. And I sort of feel like I'm trying to apply that kind of thought and feeling to this and say there is so much nostalgia and Pokemon wouldn't be where it is without this set. But if we are ranking this set amongst all sets, I will compromise and have it in pretty Goodra, but it'd be mid-lower.
But under the catalyst that when we do Crown Zenith is immediately the top set of all time, is basically what you're saying.
Oh, no, it's not the best set of all time.
Okay, that's Steam Siege, obviously.
I will argue against you on that point in a positive way. I think we shouldn't take nostalgia out of this. I think we also need to remember we love you, Patreon. We love you all to bits, but this is our 3 set list, and we should come on an agreement together. It's ours, and I think it is naive of us to think that we should take nostalgia out of it. I think, for me personally, nostalgia makes a lot of this hobby, and I think it makes a lot of this set. And it's like sets like Pokemon Go, which we will get to.
No, we won't. We are not having that set on this show.
That's my point. I know a lot of people fucking hate that set, and I love it. But when it comes to base set, we all have that nostalgic love for it, and I am loath to see it lower than Goodra.
I would be happy to move my vote down to Goodra, because I think between the 3 of us, we all make very valid points. But obviously, by the time we've done every set, because there's enough of them, it could be right at the bottom of It's Pretty Goodra. It could be in the middle. It could be right at the top, on the verge of going into Pokémania. So I think all 3 of us now, you will hold up a number, 1 to 5, 5 being the bin, 1 being Pokémania, and the majority number wins. So obviously mid will be 3, Goodra will be 2, Pokémania will be 1. Whee! So on the count of 3, you may reveal your number. 1, 2, 3. It's Pretty Goodra. I think realistically, it's a perfect mix of everyone's opinion. I think we've done a really, really nice way of covering the entirety set as a whole. How have you guys felt about it? Did you enjoy it? What set do you want us to see us do next? Let us know down in the comments below. I've racked up, I think, 10 sets, and I'm going to throw them at the lads in various shapes and sizes. So we might do Neo Genesis, we might do Steam Siege, we might do Crown Zenith. It might be Paldea and Fates. You won't know until you join us here for Set Down and Talk About It, Episode 2. Thank you ever so much for joining. Make sure you tell us your opinions and sign up to the Patreon, the YouTube and the Instagram right now. Good night.
A lot of people find base set buried in their garden. I wish I was there.